Hello everyone, and welcome to Everything Anime, a place where we take a look at anime and animation to determine whether or not it's worth your time and money. Here, we grade animation on a 4-point scale: music, art style, popularity, and story. I'm your host, Dizzazzter, so sit back, grab a snack, as I bring to you Everything Anime. Leaving the Namek Saga behind, we return from the vastness of space and continue onward to our future in the Android Saga. But first, let's take a look at the characters that we'll see in the saga. Goku, Vegeta, Android 19, Dr. Gero is Android 20, Piccolo, Krillin, Gohan, Tien, Future Trunks, Android 18, Android 17, Android 16, Bulma, Yamcha, Chi-Chi, Chaozu, Master Roshi, Mr. Popo, and Kami. So Frieza is back. He survived the explosion of Namek, and his father, King Cold, had him healed and cybernetically enhanced. Frieza is headed back to Earth to get revenge on Goku. Vegeta is now living on Earth at Capsule Corp. He didn't want to stay, but Bulma kind of convinced him to stay because he wanted to wait for Goku to get back to teach him how to become a Super Saiyan. After Frieza gets to Earth, he is confronted by a young man with Super Saiyan-like powers. The young man defeats Frieza and King Cold easily, and the Z Fighters wonder who this guy is. Goku finally makes it back to Earth after a year and a half. The young man wants to test Goku to make sure he is truly a Super Saiyan and powerful. He pulls his sword out and tries to fight Goku with it. Goku blocks the sword strikes with one finger. The boy is in awe. The young man introduced himself as Trunks, a child of Bulma and Vegeta from 20 years in the future. He gives Goku medicine, and he tells Goku in the future he dies from a heart virus. He also warns that Goku isn't around to help against the two killer androids that show up 3 years in the future and destroy humanity. Having delivered the medicine and the message, Future Trunks leaves. Goku explains to the Z Fighters that he found a pod just before Namek exploded that took him to the planet Yardrat. The inhabitants nursed him back to health and taught him a very important technique called instant transmission, a technique to instantly move someone or something quickly or teleport. The Z Fighters begin training to defeat the androids in 3 years. 3 years passes very quickly as the Z Fighters meet up to get ready for the android attack. A car is blown up in a nearby city, and they were very close, so they split up to find the cause. Yamcha finds the androids first, androids 19 and 20. 19 is short and a little round, while 20 is an older gentleman, leaner, with long white hair. This android is actually Dr. Gero. So 20 grabs Yamcha and punches a hole in his chest. The Z Fighters get to where Yamcha is, and they heal him with a sensu bean and try to get the androids to fight in a non-populated area. Goku begins fighting with Android 19 and is beating him at first, but then he starts to lose because of the heart virus Trunks had warned him about. He is badly beaten by 19 until Vegeta steps in and saves him. Vegeta defeats 19, which scares Android 20, or Dr. Gero, into running. Dr. Gero doesn't want to get destroyed just yet because he thought being an android he would be stronger than any of the Z Fighters because he had been doing research to see how much powers the Z Fighters had. So he hides in canyons and he lowers his power level so the Z Fighters can't sense him and just easily find him. He jumps out on Piccolo for a surprise attack, and Piccolo chops his arm off. Dr. Gero realizes he needs to return to his laboratory for repairs. He can't even beat Piccolo, let alone any of the other Z Fighters. Trunks returns from the future, and he's amazed to see that these are not the androids that have destroyed his future. Dr. Gero escapes, and the Z Fighters frantically try to find him. Before he escapes, he says he will activate 2 more androids. Back at Dr. Gero's lab, he releases androids 17 and 18. 17 is a young man with long black hair, and 18 is a young girl with long blonde hair. 17 and 18 don't like being controlled, so 17 kills Dr. Gero just as the Z Fighters find his secret lab. 17 and 18 then release Android 16, a large man with an orange mohawk. Vegeta is now a Super Saiyan. He's been training all this time to show up Goku, and at this moment, he is the most powerful fighter that the Z Fighters have in their roster. So he is super confident that he can beat the androids with no help all by himself. He and 18 start fighting, and she toys with him a bit. She knows that he is strong, but he doesn't have unlimited energy like the androids do. So any fight that Vegeta is able to give to 18 is ultimately useless because at the end of the day, the androids can keep going forever. 18 gets serious and breaks Vegeta's arm. The Z Fighters try to help, but are beaten by 17. Before the androids leave to kill Goku, 18 kisses Krillin, which makes him think the androids aren't all that bad. The Z Fighters heal up, and Vegeta takes off. Piccolo goes to Kami to merge with him so he can get stronger as well. Piccolo learns from Kami there's an even bigger threat to Earth, and then he goes to check it out and see what's going on. He finds Cell, another of Dr. Gero's androids. Cell tells Piccolo he is made up of the Z Fighters and Frieza's DNA. Dr. Gero had been collecting it this whole time ever since the fight with Vegeta on Earth. Cell says he needs to absorb 17 and 18 to truly become perfect. He also lets us know that he is from the future, and in his future, 17 and 18 were destroyed. So after learning about the truth of Cell in this timeline, the Z Fighters go to Dr. Gero's old lab where 17 and 18 were just activated, and they find a secret basement. And that is where Dr. Gero had a supercomputer working on Cell. So they destroy it. They destroy Cell before he matures, realizes that 17 and 18 have been destroyed, and go back in time to reabsorb them. Goku wakes up healed and healthy and goes to where the hyperbolic time chamber is so that he and Gohan can get some training. Vegeta and Trunks are also there, and Vegeta demands that him and Trunks get to go first. 16, 17, and 18 get to the Kame house and ask where Goku is, prompting a fight between 17 and Piccolo. Piccolo is winning, but is interrupted by Cell, who sensed his power. During this time, Bulma creates a remote to shut down the androids so that Cell could never absorb them. She obtained the blueprints from Trunks and Krillin, which they found in Dr. Gero's secret lab basement. Cell easily beats Piccolo and 17. This is where 16 steps in and starts to beat the mess out of Cell. 16 is a full android and cannot be absorbed by Cell, so he stood a better chance at beating him because he was a full robot. So Cell hits everyone with the solar flare and absorbs 17. Cell transforms and marvels at his new power, and he can't wait to absorb 18 so he can become perfect Cell. Cell blasts 16, almost destroying him, but Tien stalls Cell for as long as he can so that 18 and 16 can escape and go hide. That way Cell can't absorb 18. And at the last minute, Goku uses instant transmission to save Tien and Piccolo, bringing them back to the lookout. Bulma gives Krillin the remote she made to stop the androids as Trunks and Vegeta exit the time chamber, and boy did they look powerful. So now it's Goku and Gohan's turn to enter the time chamber and make best use of the time that they have in there. They can get a full year's worth of training in one day. Vegeta and Trunks make their way to Cell. When they arrive, Vegeta easily starts winning the battle. Krillin finds 18, but he can't shut her down with the remote because he likes her. She kissed him and it made him feel a little funny. So Vegeta is so bored with this fight with Cell, he thinks it needs to be amped up a little bit, so he agrees to let Cell absorb 18. During this time, Gohan finally reaches Super Saiyan in the hyperbolic time chamber. Perfect Cell is truly horrifying. He gives Vegeta a devastating beating before he knocks him unconscious. Trunks goes berserk and attacks Cell. He powers up, and his power-up state, he's bigger. And because he's bigger, he's slower. And Cell tells him, I could have done that too. I could have gotten bigger, but it would have made me slower. So at this point, Trunks can't beat Cell. Cell is just way too fast. Cell kind of gets bored with Trunks and says, you know what? I want a better fight. And he's going to hold a tournament in 10 days. If the Z Fighters don't win that tournament, Cell is going to destroy the Earth. So finally, Goku and Gohan exit the time chamber. Goku seems very calm and relaxed, considering the uphill battle that the Z Fighters have against Cell. With Piccolo fused with Kami, it made the Earth Dragon Balls disappear. So Goku instant transmissions over to New Namek to ask Dende if he would become Earth's new guardian. Dende agrees, comes back to Earth, and creates a dragon that can now grant 3 wishes. So 10 days have passed, the Cell Games tournament begins, and Goku is the first one to fight. After a long, ferocious battle, Goku decides to concede the match to Cell. Everyone is surprised. They thought Goku was going to be the one to defeat Cell. Goku thinks that only one person can beat Cell, and that one person is Gohan. So just as Gohan and Cell are about to start fighting, Android 16 jumps on Cell and says that he's going to detonate himself. That way, he can get rid of Cell and no other lives have to be lost. But during the time that Bulma was fixing him, after he was blasted the first time he fought Cell, she removed the bomb. Knowing this, Cell just shatters 16, breaks his body into pieces, and then he creates 7 Cell Juniors. These are tiny cells that are blue, but retain some of Cell's overwhelming strength. The Cell Juniors start beating the Z Fighters, which enrages Gohan. He tells Cell that if he doesn't stop, he might not be able to control the powers that are sleeping within him. The beatings continue until Gohan transforms into a Super Saiyan 2. At this point, Gohan is super powerful. He takes out all of the Cell Juniors with one hit apiece. Gohan zips over to Cell, kicks him in the stomach, which makes Cell regurgitate Android 18. So Cell is so angry that his only thought now is to just blow himself up. So Goku uses instant transmission to transport Cell to King Kai's planet, which kills Goku, King Kai, Bubbles, and Gregory. But all of a sudden, Cell reappears in perfect form. His cells retained the memory of them being perfect and brought him back in the perfect state. He kills future Trunks, and that makes Vegeta go into a berserk rage. But Ultimate Perfect Cell is too much for Vegeta to handle. Cell was going to kill Vegeta by shooting a blast at him, but Gohan intervenes and jumps in the way, and it blasts his arm. Cell has had enough of the Z Fighters, and he fires his most intense Kamehameha wave at Gohan. Gohan fires back, leading into a huge energy battle. Everyone distracts Cell as Gohan uses all of his power to finally overcome Cell and disintegrate him on a cellular level, meaning all of him destroyed, nothing left. Gohan and the Z Fighters finally rest knowing Cell is gone, but they're also mourning because Goku is also gone. A little bit of time passes and the Z Fighters try to wish Goku back, but they cannot because he's already been wished back on the Earth Dragon Balls. So Krillin wishes for the bombs in the androids to be removed, which the new dragon does without a problem. Future Trunks goes back to the future and kills 17, 18, and Cell. Goku, King Kai, Bubbles, and Gregory search for their next adventure. And that ends Dragon Ball Z, the Android Saga. Alright guys, so I hope you're ready for our map session. This is where we judge our anime by music, art style, popularity, and story. Music. It felt electric and futuristic at points, and as new characters are introduced, they give you a creepy, eerie melody, add punch to some of the more shocking scenes, and just give you an overall feel that you are in something different, something new and advanced. It really gives you an immersive feel, which just adds to the strength of this anime. I give it a 24 out of 25. Art style. More color. Namek was so bland. We finally get back to the vibrance of Dragon Ball Z. It's crisp, it's clean, and it's colorful. That's how it should be. I give it a 24 out of 25. Popularity. If you weren't into Dragon Ball Z, you were after this saga. I think a lot of people started watching Dragon Ball Z late night on Cartoon Network, and this was their first dip of their toe into the water, which is Dragon Ball. And Cartoon Network, this was like their go-to anime at the time, during the Android Saga. So this is where most people started watching. It was already huge and only got bigger at this point. I give it a 25 out of 25. Story. I love the Android Saga. It may be my favorite in all of Dragon Ball Z. You have killer androids, Goku returning, the Z Fighters pushing themselves past their limits, time travel, Goku dying, Gohan reaching Super Saiyan 2, and a good mix of dialogue to action ratio. I give it a 25 out of 25. Dragon Ball Z, the Android Saga, gets a 98, a well-deserved A must-watch for DBZ fans, and personally, one of my favorite sagas in all of Dragon Ball Z. Stay tuned for the conclusion of Dragon Ball Z, the Buu Saga. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. That way, when I put out a new video, you'll know. I'm Dizzazzter, and make sure you come back for everything anime.